Hello, and a very warm welcome back to Health Voices. The other day I was putting away my groceries and I took a moment to look at what was in my pantry. I saw all these different bags of nuts that I'd bought over the last few weeks: almonds, walnuts, cashews. And on every single package, you see those comforting little heart symbols and the words, heart healthy. We are all told to reach for a handful of nuts instead of cookies or chips. It feels like the smartest, safest snack we could possibly choose, right? But it got me thinking, is it really that simple? For those of us over 60, when our bodies are more sensitive, is it possible there's another side to this story? Could there be a hidden danger lurking inside these supposedly healthy snacks? And to help us answer that critical question, I am so honored to have our trusted cardiologist, Dr. David Miller, back with us. Doctor, welcome. I was just telling our audience about this healthy nut assumption. Am I right to be concerned?
Sarah, you are not just right to be concerned. You have touched on one of the most misunderstood topics in senior healthcare today. What if I told you that some of those popular, heart-healthy nuts might be silently raising your blood pressure, interfering with your life-saving medications, or even pushing your heart towards a dangerous event? As a cardiologist, I see patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who are frustrated. They say, "Doc, I've done everything right. I gave up fried foods. I walk every day. I snack on nuts." And yet, their heart is still in trouble. The reason is that after age 60, the rules change. It's no longer about if a nut is healthy, but how it's prepared, how much you eat, and how it interacts with your unique body and medications. Today, we are not going to give you a simple list. We are going to uncover the 3 hidden dangers inside your nut bowl: the processing problem, the dosage problem, and the most critical of all, the interaction problem. This is an urgent conversation about senior heart health.
It sounds like what we don't know could truly be hurting us.
It is. Nature, in God's wisdom, gave us these incredible, nutrient-dense foods. But we must have the wisdom to understand how to use them correctly in this stage of life. This isn't about fear, it's about knowledge. And that knowledge is power. So I need you to stay with me, because what you're about to learn could truly save your life. If you're ready to take back control and truly protect your heart, type 1 in the comments right now to let me know you're with me.
So, let's dive right into that first hidden danger you mentioned, Doctor. The processing problem. I think this is something that can confuse all of us. You walk down the aisle at the grocery store, you see a bag of nuts, and you think, it comes from a plant. It must be pure. But that's not the whole story, is it?
Not even close. And this is the first thing I need everyone watching today to burn into their memory. In most cases, the nut itself is not the enemy. The enemy is what the food industry does to that nut before it gets to you. They take something pure and load it with a conspiracy of 3 ingredients that are devastating for senior heart health: salt, sugar, and inflammatory oils. Let's start with salted cashews. Think about that can of cashews in your pantry right now. They are creamy, they are satisfying, and they feel so much healthier than potato chips. But here's the medical reality. The American Heart Association recommends that most adults, especially those over 60, should consume no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. A single handful of commercially salted cashews can contain 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium. If you eat 2 handfuls, which is very easy to do, you've just consumed a third of your entire daily limit from a healthy snack.
And most people would never even think about that. We only think about the salt we sprinkle on our food ourselves.
Exactly. And your body feels the effect immediately. That sodium forces your body to hold on to water, increasing the volume of blood in your arteries. This drives up your blood pressure and makes your heart work harder. Day after day, the silent strain begins to damage the heart muscle. It's the same story with most commercial nut butters. I want you to do something for me after you finish this video. Go to your kitchen and read the ingredient list on your jar of peanut or almond butter. Does it just say peanuts or almonds? Or do you see sugar, salt, and something called hydrogenated oil or palm oil? Those added oils are used to make the butter smooth and stop it from separating, but they are often high in omega-6 fatty acids, which in high amounts cause inflammation throughout your entire body, including the delicate lining of your arteries.
And the third one in this group is trail mix, which has the ultimate health halo. Everyone thinks it's the perfect snack.
It can be if you make it yourself, but the trail mix you buy in a bag is often a disaster. It's mostly candy. The dried fruit is often coated in extra sugar to keep it soft. The nuts are roasted in those same inflammatory oils and covered in salt. And the chocolate pieces are usually just waxy, sugary candy. You think you're fueling your body, but you're actually just eating a dessert with devastating consequences for your blood sugar and blood pressure. I want to tell you about a patient of mine because her story might sound very familiar to some of you. Her name is Brenda, a 72-year-old retired librarian. She was doing all the right things, she thought. She swapped her afternoon cookies for a bowl of salted nuts, and she ate whole wheat toast with a popular brand of no-stir peanut butter for lunch. She came to me because she felt tired all the time, and her ankles were swelling. Her blood pressure was dangerously high, despite her medication. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Doctor, I don't understand. I don't use the salt shaker. I don't eat dessert."
And it was her healthy snacks that were the culprit all along.
They were the primary source of her problem. We calculated the sodium and sugar from just those two healthy snacks, and it was staggering. We switched her to raw, unsalted nuts and a true natural peanut butter that contained only one ingredient: peanuts. Within a month, her swelling went down, her energy came back, and her blood pressure finally started to get under control. Her story is a powerful warning to all of you. You must become a detective and investigate what is really in your food. It's a tragedy because you are trying to honor the body God gave you, but the food industry is making it incredibly difficult. It would mean a lot to me to know who I'm speaking with today. If this information is reaching you and you're finding it helpful, please take just a moment and type the city and state or the country that you're watching from in the comments below. I truly want to see where our Health Voices community lives and who we are helping today.
Doctor, that first problem you described, the processing, is about what's added to the nuts. That makes sense. But this next hidden danger you mentioned is even more shocking to me, because it's about the nuts themselves, even when they are raw, pure, and untouched. This is the dosage problem. The idea that too much of a good thing can actually be harmful. Can you explain that to our viewers?
This is perhaps the most important concept for anyone over 60 to understand. The foods that were once purely beneficial can become a burden if you don't respect the changes in your own body. Let's talk about raw almonds. For decades, you have been told they are a superfood. They are a wonderful source of vitamin E, magnesium, and healthy fats. But here is the medical reality that you are not told on the packaging. Raw almonds are extremely high in a natural compound called oxalates.
Oxalates. What are those, and why are they a concern for seniors?
Think of oxalates as tiny, sharp, microscopic crystals. In a younger person with strong kidney function, your body flushes these crystals out in your urine without any trouble. But as we age, your kidney function naturally and slowly declines. Your kidneys are not as efficient at filtering waste as they were when you were 30. So if you are eating large handfuls of raw almonds day after day, these oxalate crystals can start to build up. They can form into kidney stones, and more importantly, they put a slow, grinding strain on your kidneys. And I need everyone watching to hear this loud and clear. Your heart and your kidneys are a team. They are deeply connected. If your kidneys are struggling under a heavy oxalate load, they can't balance fluids in your body properly. This leads directly to fluid retention, that swelling you might notice in your ankles or feet, which in turn raises your blood pressure. Now your heart, which may already be working harder due to age, is forced to pump against even more resistance. It's a dangerous domino effect started by a snack you thought was protecting you.
So it's not just about the heart. It's about how one food can affect the entire system. What about another nut that is praised so highly, like walnuts?
Walnuts are another perfect example of the dosage dilemma. You've all heard that walnuts are brain food, and they are because they are packed with a very special and potent type of omega-3 fatty acid called ALA. But that word potent is key. I want you to think about your body's nervous system as having a gas pedal and a brake pedal to control your heart rate. In a healthy system, they are in perfect balance. For some seniors who are more sensitive, or who may have a pre-existing heart condition, consuming a very large dose of the powerful fats in walnuts can be like pressing that gas pedal a little too hard, a little too often. It can overstimulate the system and cause that jumpy, fluttering, or skipping feeling in your chest. We call this an arrhythmia, or an irregular heartbeat. I want to tell you about Frank. Frank was 75, a retired engineer who was sharp as a tack and determined to stay that way. He read an article online about walnuts preventing Alzheimer's, so he started eating them with a passion. He put them in his oatmeal, on his salads, and ate a huge handful as a snack. He was probably eating 2 full cups of walnuts and almonds a day. He came to me not because of chest pain, but because of a deep, unshakable fatigue. And at night, when he would lie down quietly, he could feel his heart doing what he called hiccups.
And he, of course, thought he was doing the healthiest thing possible for his brain.
He was convinced of it. We ran his blood work, and his kidney function markers were elevated, a clear sign of strain. We put a 48-hour heart monitor on him, and we saw it clearly. Frequent episodes of premature ventricular contractions, or PVCs. Those were the hiccups he was feeling. His body was being overwhelmed. The oxalates from the massive amount of almonds were straining his kidneys, causing fatigue, and the huge dose of potent fats from the walnuts was irritating his heart's electrical system. He was pushing his body too far with a good thing.
So what was the solution? Did he have to give up nuts completely?
Absolutely not. The solution was not elimination, it was wisdom and moderation. We cut his intake way back. I advised him to have no more than a small closed handful, about 1/4 cup, of nuts per day. I also had him switch to blanched almonds, which have the skins removed and are lower in oxalates. Within a month, his fatigue lifted. His heart monitor showed the hiccups had almost completely disappeared. He learned a powerful lesson that I want to share with all of you. Your body after 60 does not need to be flooded with anything, not even healthy things. It needs balance. More is not always better. If this information is making sense to you and helping you understand your body better, please type the number 1 in the comments below. It lets me know that this vital message is getting through.
Doctor, we've talked about the dangers of processing and the risk of eating too large a dose. But you mentioned a third hidden danger, the interaction problem, which you called the most critical of all. That sounds incredibly serious. What exactly do you mean by an interaction?
I call it the most critical, Sarah, because this is where a seemingly healthy food choice can directly interfere with life-saving medication. And this is something I wish every senior patient understood. When you are taking prescription drugs, especially for your heart, your food is no longer just food. It becomes part of your body's chemistry set. Certain healthy foods can either dangerously amplify the effect of your medication or just as dangerously, block it from working at all. It is a silent war happening inside your body, and you could be on the losing side without ever knowing it.
That's a terrifying thought. Could you give us a specific example?
Let's talk about flax seeds. You see them everywhere now. You're told to sprinkle them on your oatmeal or in your smoothies to lower cholesterol and help digestion. But flax seeds are extremely high in a compound called ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid which acts as a potent, natural blood thinner. Now think about this. If your doctor has prescribed a blood thinner, like a daily baby aspirin or stronger medications like warfarin, Eliquis, or Xarelto, they have calculated the exact dose needed to protect you from a catastrophic stroke or heart attack. When you add a daily dose of flax seeds on top of that, you are pouring gasoline on a controlled fire. You are thinning your blood beyond the safe, therapeutic level. This puts you at a huge risk for a serious, even life-threatening bleed from a simple fall or a minor bump.
So a food that's supposed to help the heart could actually cause a bleeding crisis. What is the other side of that coin? You mentioned some foods can block medications.
Yes, and this is just as insidious. Let's look at a handful of pistachios. They are delicious and have healthy fats, but they are also very high in a specific type of insoluble fiber. Now imagine what happens when you take your morning pills with a big bowl of oatmeal loaded with pistachios and seeds. That large amount of fiber can form a thick, gel-like mesh in your stomach and intestines. Your vital medication, your blood pressure pill, your thyroid pill, your cholesterol pill, can get physically trapped in that fibrous mesh. The result? The full dose of the medication never reaches your bloodstream. You think you're protected because you swallowed the pill, but in reality, you might only be getting 50% or 60% of its benefit. Your blood pressure stays high, your thyroid levels are off, and you and your doctor can't figure out why. You're being under-medicated by your snack. This level of awareness, understanding how food and medicine interact, is the next level of taking charge of your senior heart health.
This is exactly the kind of life-saving detail we want to bring to our Health Voices community. This goes so far beyond just eating healthy.
It does. I want to tell you about Diane, a 78-year-old patient of mine. Her case illustrates this perfectly. She was on warfarin, a blood thinner, and also a daily pill for her thyroid. For months, her lab results were all over the place. Her blood was either too thin, putting her at risk of bleeding, or too thick, putting her at risk of a clot. Her thyroid levels were also unstable, leaving her feeling exhausted. We were adjusting her medications, but nothing gave us a stable result. It was a medical mystery. Finally, I sat down with her, and we went through her diet with a fine-tooth comb. I discovered her healthy morning ritual. Every morning, she would make a big smoothie. In it, she would put 2 heaping tablespoons of ground flaxseed and a large handful of pistachios, and she would drink this smoothie at the exact same time she took her morning pills.
Oh no, she was doing both things at once.
Both things. It was a double-edged sword created in her blender. The flax seed was amplifying her warfarin, making her blood dangerously thin. At the same time, the massive dose of fiber from the pistachios and flax was trapping her thyroid medication, preventing it from being properly absorbed. She was being simultaneously over-medicated and under-medicated, all because of a healthy smoothie. When we figured it out, we simply had her move her smoothie to the afternoon, at least 4 hours after her morning medications. Within 6 weeks, all of her lab values stabilized. She looked at me and said, "I thought I was taking my medicine, but my smoothie was stealing it from me." It is a blessing that we have these life-saving medications. It is a gift from God through the minds of scientists. We have to be wise stewards of that gift and not unknowingly disable it with our food choices. So I am begging you, if you are on any daily medication, talk to your doctor or your pharmacist about the foods you eat regularly. That conversation could save your life.
Doctor, before we finish, I have to say that this has been a profound conversation. It seems the core message here is about developing a new level of awareness and a deep respect for our bodies as they change with age.
That is it exactly. For a moment, I want to speak to everyone watching, not just as a doctor, but as a fellow human being on this journey. For much of our lives, we can get away with not listening to our bodies too closely. But after 60, that changes. Health is no longer about following fad diets or just avoiding bad foods. It becomes a deep, respectful conversation with the body that has carried you this far. Your body is whispering to you every single day. That little bit of fatigue, that slight swelling in your ankles, that flutter in your chest, those are not just signs of getting older. Those are messages. Your body is asking for your help. It's asking for your wisdom. Learning to listen and respond with gentle, consistent care is the most important relationship you will ever have. Every day you wake up is a blessing. Every single beat of your heart is a gift. Treating your body with this level of mindful respect is, I believe, a form of prayer. It is how we say thank you for the incredible gift of life that God has given us.
Thank you for that beautiful thought, Doctor. And it leads me to the final and perhaps most important point we need to make today. We have shared so much valuable information, and our goal here at Health Voices is always to empower you with knowledge that you can use. But we must insist that you remember this. This conversation is for educational and informational purposes only. We are not your personal doctors. Dr. Miller does not know your specific health history, the medications you are taking, or the conditions you are managing. So please, treat this information as the starting point for a conversation with your own healthcare provider. Before you make any significant changes to your diet, your routine, or your snacking habits based on what you've heard today, please make that phone call. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your pharmacist. They are your primary partners in managing your health, and every important decision should always be made with their direct guidance and approval. That is an essential reminder for us all. Thank you. Today, all of you have learned about the 3 hidden dangers in nuts: the processing problem, the dosage problem, and the interaction problem. And most importantly, you now have a clear 4-step action plan to snack safely. Dr. Miller, on behalf of our entire community, thank you once again for sharing this life-saving information with us today.
It is always my honor and my privilege, Sarah. Be well.
And to all of you, our wonderful viewers, thank you for joining us. If you found this conversation valuable, and we hope you did, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and share it with a friend or a family member who needs to hear this message. And finally, we would love to continue the conversation with you in the comments. Tell us, after watching today, what is the one small change you are inspired to make in how you eat nuts? Reading your comments and learning from your journey inspires our entire community. Thank you for watching.